Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. In today's video, we're going to be going over my Fidelity portfolio and the results that I did on the month of September 2021. I'm a couple days late on this. It is October 6th, but if we look here on this Fidelity chart, right now my balance is $30,083. Like I said, we are a couple days late, but at the month of September, we finished at $29,404. Now looking at my month over month return so far, you can see that for the month of October, we finished with positive 5.57%. But in the month of September, it was a mighty red month of negative 10.62%. A very red month for us here in our Fidelity portfolio. Now, just like I said in some of my previous videos, like I said, I'm going to show my results every single month, whether that is success, whether that's failure. I'm going to show these updates no matter what. I want to show you guys month over month what a real portfolio looks like and whether this number was positive 10%, minus 10%, whatever the case may be. I'm going to show this each and every month. And so far, the first month of August went very good. The month of September went very bad. And we're going to see where this is looking in October. So far in the month of October, we're a little bit in the green, but really it's been very ugly since then. And what I want to do is I want to show my performance compared to the indexes, as well as look at some of my personal goals. And so if you're not familiar with me, my name is Jordan. I'm a millennial investor. Go ahead and check out any links down below in the description if you haven't already, including links to Robinhood, Webull, M1 Finance, credit card referrals, Yada savings accounts, all that good stuff. Check it out down below in the description. And let's go ahead and get started with my annual goals. If you're not familiar with this, I've shown it in some of my previous videos. This shows what I am trying to do between now and February 5th of 2039. I want to hit $1 million by this day, February 5th, 2039. Why is that date significant, you may ask? And that is because that is the day that I turn 40 years old. And now how I plan on getting there is starting with $25,000, contribute $500 a month, do that for the next 18 years, which was starting at this year on my 22nd birthday, have a 17 compounded annual interest rate, and that is after tax. That is an after-tax return. Pre-tax, we're shooting for about 22-ish%. And then we plug that into our compound interest calculator, those factors that we just planned in, and then we look that it adds up to almost exactly $1 million. Now, I show each and every one of my positions each and every month, and I will show you exactly how I plan on getting to this number. But basically, first I want to show, before that, I want to show myself compared versus the indexes. Now, if we go here and look at myself compared to the indexes, the four main that I track, which is the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000, for the month of September, unfortunately, it does not show my August returns, which were really positive and beat the indexes. It only shows September because I started, I believe, like August 2nd or 3rd, so it doesn't calculate that first month. But just for the month of September, we heavily underperformed the index. We went down pretty much negative 2x from what any of the other indexes were, and the best performing one of the bunch was the Russell 2000 at negative 3% roughly, and then the worst one of the bunch, which is kind of funny to see because usually it's the complete opposite, the NASDAQ can return 5.2% in the red, in the negative. And so this is not too bad considering that all four of those indexes were red, but we did go down quite a bit more since we're not nearly as diversified as those indexes. Now let's go ahead and look at my portfolio. Let's look at my positions tab. And you can see that I'm mainly invested into 5 different positions. And briefly, I just want to go over what those are and why I'm investing in them and talk about their performance of the last month. So the biggest one of all by far is Corsair Gaming. We own 500 shares of this company, and looking over the last month, going back from October 30th, actually let's change this to line instead of candlestick so it's a little bit prettier. On October 31st, Corsair Gaming finished at a price, let's see, closing price was $28.95. Now at the end of September, it went down and down and down. And on the last day in September, it finished at a price of $25.93. So pretty dramatic downturn. That's about a 10-15% downturn in just the last month and going into September. Now what I did in the month of September, if you didn't catch up with me on this trade, I made an entire video about it. If we go, I believe these were in September, yeah, September 17th. So on the day that it was right here. So yeah, right here, September 17th, when it was about $29, right before the peak, I went ahead and sold calls a year out in advance. Now these calls is an agreement to sell these 500 shares at $40 each. Do I think it'll get there? Maybe, maybe not. I think time will tell. We have 11 months until that date comes to fruition, until we see that date expire. But in the meantime, I received about $1,621, as you can see what I'm highlighting with my mouse right here. $1,600 just to hold this stock for the next month. And so Corsair Gaming is one that I really believe in. I've made lots of videos about in the past. Check it out if you haven't seen that before. But basically, they're a great company. They have lots of money on the balance sheet. They're improving their financials. They're growing their business. And I think that they have a really good market to grow in. And I think that they're overall just a great company. I'm excited to own them. So Corsair Gaming is my largest position. And then we have number 2 and number 3, and they're tied for the second and third largest. And let's see, I initially bought these 100 shares on August 20th of this year. And those of you that don't know, if you haven't seen my previous videos, I originally used to trade with M1 Finance, and I moved everything over to Fidelity. And so everything you're gonna see is somewhat recent. I haven't had these positions very long. And that's why also with the performance tab, you only see 2 months worth of history. But this will go further along as we go along. But if you haven't seen my track record before, go ahead and check out some of my older videos with M1 Finance, and you can see me there. But looking at Irobot, so in total, we're up a teeny tiny amount. We're up 0.8%. It's having a decent green day today, up 2.6%, but I invested $8,000 into Irobot, 100 shares at $80 each on August 20th. Now, in the month of August, let's see where Irobot finished out at. At the end of August, it closed at $81.12, just a tiny bit above from where I bought it at. And then at the month of September, it finished out right here, finished right at $78.50. So it went down a couple percent, nothing too big either way. But Irobot so far, pretty much since I bought into it, has done nothing but trade flat. Hasn't really went a whole lot up, hasn't went a whole lot down. You just see these jagged moves, just a little percent up, a little percent down, a little percent up, a little percent down, and it's just a little baby roller coaster so far for the stock. Now Irobot, I really believe in for the long term. They are cash loaded to the sky with no debt whatsoever, and they're transitioning their business to a subscription-based revenue model, and it's one that I'm really excited about. Financially speaking, as far as the balance sheet goes, of all 5 that I own, or 6 now, which you'll be, stay tuned for that, I'm about to go over my 6th company, Irobot is the best financially shaped company on the list. It is cash loaded to the sky with no debt. I believe last time I checked, it's 415 million, I think, on the balance sheet. But anyways, you get the point. Irobot, great financial company, growing top line revenues and bottom line profits, and trading, at my opinion, a pretty decent valuation. Next up, we have the one that's tied, the same pretty much. I invested about $8,000 into Chewy stock, and this is by far and away the worst performer of the bunch. When Chewy, going back to, let's see, the day that I bought these shares was September 2nd. September 2nd was the day that this stock plunged. It went down something like 10%. Yeah, look, let's see at the top, you see right there, 9.29%. That is a pretty dramatic downturn for especially a company like Chewy that is growing. Now, I just made a video about Chewy in my previous video. Go check it out if you haven't seen that already. But you can see since I bought these shares at $80 each, they have downtrended and downtrended and downtrended. And to finish out the month of September from where I bought it at, they finished out at $68.11. So what is that? That's about, yeah, that's right at about a 15% downturn in my first month of owning Chewy. So things are not going well with Chewy whatsoever. I am potentially looking at doubling down on my position if it drops to, say, probably about $60 or so. I'm out of cash, but I'm going to dig into my deep pockets to try to buy 100 extra shares. But Chewy so far, it's a great company and a bad stock. I think that so far investors are devaluing this company for no legitimate reason. I think that will change, and I'm making my bets that in 2022, 2023, this stock is gonna come back in a big, big way. But majority of the losses that we have so far is primarily responsible to Chewy. Looking at all 5 of my positions, I'm down on a few, I'm up on a few, but it's pretty much within 10% gain or loss either way. But for Chewy, we're down, as of right now that I'm filming this, 18.43%. So things are really looking bad for Chewy, and let's see if that's gonna turn around. Next up, we have Tattooed Chef. Now, I wanna mention this. This is what's funny about the stock market. Even when a stock announces great news, that doesn't always mean that it's gonna go up. Even though that's logically what you would think that, oh, great news, they're gonna go up in share price. Well, that's not always the case. On October 4th, they announced that they are getting into 1,200 new stores. There's this grocery chain called Publix. It's mostly on the southeastern part of the country, and they're coming out in 1,200 different stores and 6 different SKUs. The cauliflower mac and cheese bowl, plant-based burrito bowl, spicy Thai, veggie hemp, Buddha bowl, enchilada bowl. All these bowls are being released in over 1,000 public stores. And what happened on October 4th when this was announced? Well, let's look on October 4th. October 4th was right here. The stock closed down 2.49%. And for the month of September, looking at where it closed out in August, you see that it closed out at $21.17. Going to the end of September, it closed out at $18.43. So about another 10-15% down for the month of September. We're gonna see what this finishes out in the month of October, but pretty much with Tattooed Chef, I'm potentially looking at creating some capital by selling my Tattooed Chef to maybe look to investing into Chewy, because Tattooed Chef, I am down a little bit. I'm down 10.12%. I'm actually down a little bit more than I thought I was, but I'm down about 10% on Tattooed Chef. We're gonna see where that goes in the long term, but it's one that's growing. I don't wanna sell out of it. I'm definitely focused on the long term, but Chewy's getting to a price that is just getting absolutely ridiculous, and I'm thinking about taking advantage of that. That said, I'm potentially looking at holding Tattooed Chef, and we'll see where that one goes. Next up, we have CleanSpark. I mentioned this before, one of the riskiest of the bunch, and so far, other than Irobot, the only one that we've showed that's been up in this downturn of the market, CleanSpark is benefiting massively from the Bitcoin rally. And even I think today, let's see what Bitcoin is up today, another 5.95%. You can see where my mouse is at, and it's reaching new highs. If we look at let's scroll out and let's look at the last year or so for Bitcoin. Finally, over these last couple of months, it has really started to rally up, and especially in the last couple of weeks. Now, going back to my list here, going back to CLSK, CleanSpark stock, you can see that for the month of August, it closed out at $13.80. Now, finishing the month of September, it closed out at $11.59. So a pretty dramatic downturn, and luckily the last couple days, ever since the end of September, it's pretty much been up and up. The month of October, the fourth quarter, is starting great for this company. But I bought in my average share price at $13.25 each. Right now, it is currently trading at $13.85, and I'm up about 4.5% on it. So nothing big, nothing really to shout about. I mean, it's just a small gain. I'm looking at holding these shares long term. Already have contracts for holding the stock into January, so no matter what, I'm going to be holding the next 3.5 months anyway, regardless of where the stock price goes. But CleanSpark is one with massive potential, and we'll see where that one goes. And then we have my final position, and it is a brand new position. I'm filming this on October 6th. I bought these shares on October 4th, just 2 days ago. It's a little baby position. Like I said, I'm running low on cash, and wow, has Rocket, let's just go out here. The highest where the stock closed at was 41.60. If we actually let's pull up the actual candlesticks. So at one point, this stock reached $43 a share. 43. Now this company initially IPO'd. Let's see where its IPO price was. The initial IPO was $17.50, and that was in August of 2020. And so in a 13-month span, with all the growth that this company has seen on top line, bottom line, their expansion of services, the more employees that they have, all that good stuff, this stock is down from its initial IPO price a year and a month later. And this stock initially IPO'd at $17.50. I bought my initial shares at $15.50, so $2 cheaper. And it's gonna be a little small investment. I will increase my position if it continues to go down. I think that the bottom is very near for Rocket. And so this is not included in my performance because I just bought it here in October, just 2 days ago. And since it was so recent, I'm pretty much break even. I'm down 1%. It's down 1% today. So yeah, that's the reason I'm down. It's down 1%. But Rocket is one that I'm looking about holding over the next year. In regards to my month-over-month goals, you see my yearly goals, but looking at my month-over-month goals, I wanted to start October 1st with $31,000. So far, we are behind on that goal. You can see that we have about 30 right here, just a couple days later. And so we're about $1,000 behind. So we need my portfolio and my deposits to go up if I want to meet those goals, because we need to be at 32,000 by the start of next month on November 1st. So I got about 4 weeks to come up with $2,000 from deposits and stock market gains if I want to be on track to hit that goal by February of next year on my 23rd birthday. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, leave them down below. Check out all the links listed, and I'll catch you guys next time.